Good afternoon, St. Mary's. Thomas Leah, your faithful dearie. So, as you can see, I have yet again gone through another transformation. I thought that no hair would look better than rose hair, but it's a tough call. I kind of look like an alien. But at the same time, there's not as many people like asking questions. Okay, what's going on with this guy? So at least like semi-normal, and so yeah. So I think that. I did have an idea for the video for this week, and it will be pretty short, pretty simple. Just this message from Sister Josepha Mendes, who was a saint in, when was it? The 1900s. I can't remember exactly when it was, but she lived until she died. I think she was only 33 years old. So a lot of times the saints, if you're super holy, that's a good way to go. And people know that you're doing something right, potentially, right? I mean, unless you're living just like a pretty obviously in the wrong direction. So Jesus would appear to her very much like Saint Faustina, but the messages just are very, very heartwarming. Some of them are challenging, like he calls her to a life of sacrifice for the salvation of souls, and that's consistent with Our Lady of Fatima and in the Catechism talks about how we can win grace for other souls by offering like acts of love and sacrifice and stuff like that. So I'm going to read to you what she says, and it has been amazing for me just to keep in mind. I have actually a little page printed off here, so that I just put it above my desk so that I can just be reminded of it, and it just helps me to kind of live it. Okay. So he says, then he fixed his eyes on Josepha. Oh, if you could only see the beauty of a soul in grace, but such beauty is invisible to mortal eyes. Josepha, look rather with the eyes of faith and realize the value of souls. Consecrate yourself to giving this glory to the Blessed Trinity by gaining many souls in which the triune God may find a dwelling. Jesus continued, instructing her in very simple language. Every soul can be instrumental in this sublime work. Nothing great is required. The smallest act suffice. A step taken, a straw picked up, a glance restrained, a service rendered, a cordial smile. All these offered to love are in reality of great profit to souls, and draw down floods of grace on them. No need to remind you of the fruits of prayer, of sacrifice, of any act, to expiate the sins of mankind, to obtain for them the grace of purification, that they too may become fitting sanctuaries for the dwelling of the Blessed Trinity. If a man devotes his life, he said, to working either directly or indirectly for the salvation of souls, and reaches such a degree of detachment from self that without neglecting his own perfection he leaves to others the merits of his actions, prayers, and sufferings, that man draws down abundant graces on the world. He himself reaches a high degree of sanctity. Far higher than he would have attained had he sought only his own advancement. Okay, so that last part was confusing. But the first part just kind of goes to show us that our lives are incredibly meaningful. And he talks about the beauty of a soul in grace. Like if we only saw the beauty of a soul in grace, we would just be moved profoundly to tears, right? I mean, it would just be too much for us to really recognize. But we don't see that, okay? So nonetheless, we can help people tremendously just by living with our eyes fixed on Jesus, right? Just our eyes fixed on helping people come to the Lord. And oftentimes, like it doesn't happen typically through great speeches or just like these profound experiences. It's typically just little things that just kind of pop up in people's lives over and over and over and over and over. And those are graces won for them, right? So that is typically the way that God kind of brings souls to himself. So I just wanted to kind of remind us of the reality that everybody's life is extremely significant. And I think if we live in that reality of, just realizing, okay, everything I do is very important. When we can finally be convinced of that, then our lives are so full. They're so full of meaning. And we don't have to go, feed orphans, in Africa or whatever in order to find that meaning in our life, that fulfillment, that purpose. Like it's spelled out for us in every second. We can help bring God to souls and vice versa. So that was pretty short, but I think the message is pretty powerful there. And yeah, if you want to read more, you can actually find a free PDF online. But the book is Way of Divine Love by Sister Josepha Mendez. And I think, yeah, if you're in on the spiritual train, then that will, I think, be helpful for you. All right, God bless you and have a great day, and hopefully see you next week. All right, bye bye.